When you hear the name Dracula, you probably think of a pale-fanged count living in a spooky castle, right? Well, the real story behind the legend is even more fascinating and way more brutal. Forget the bats and capes for a minute, and let's travel back to 15th century Wallachia, a region in modern-day Romania, to meet the man who inspired it all, Vlad III, better known as Vlad the Impaler. So who was this guy? Vlad was born in 1431 into a world of constant conflict. His father, Vlad II Dracul, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a chivalric order dedicated to defending Christianity against the expanding Ottoman Empire. The name Dracul actually meant the dragon, and so his son, Vlad III, became known as Dracula, which means son of the dragon. It had nothing to do with vampires. Yet Vlad's childhood was anything but normal. To secure a fragile peace, his father sent him and his younger brother Radu to the Ottoman court as political hostages. Imagine being a teenager, living in the heart of your family's greatest enemy. This experience was brutal and deeply shaped Vlad's personality. He spent years there, learning their language, their military tactics, and most importantly, developing a deep-seated hatred for the Ottomans. When he finally returned to Wallachia to claim his throne, he found a land plagued by internal strife and disloyal nobles, or bojars, who were constantly plotting against him. Vlad knew he needed to assert his authority, and he decided to do it in the most terrifying way imaginable. This is where he earns his infamous nickname, Vlad the Impaler. In one of his most notorious acts, on Easter Sunday, he invited hundreds of bojars and their families to a grand feast. He then had them all arrested. The older ones were impaled on the spot, while the younger, healthier ones were forced to march 50 miles to build what is now known as Ponari Castle, his real-life fortress. Many died from exhaustion. This single event sent a crystal-clear message. Loyalty was not optional. But Vlad's favorite and most horrific method of execution was, you guessed it, impalement. It was a slow, agonizing death designed to inspire maximum terror. He didn't just use it on his internal enemies. When the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, the same man who conquered Constantinople, led a massive army to invade Wallachia, Vlad employed a strategy of pure psychological warfare. He used guerrilla tactics, poisoning wells, burning villages, and launching surprise night attacks. But his masterpiece of horror awaited the Sultan's army as they approached the capital city of Targovic. There, they discovered a gruesome forest of the impaled, a valley filled with the decaying bodies of 20,000 captured Ottoman soldiers, each one skewered on a tall spike. The sight was so horrifying, so utterly ghastly, that even the battle-hardened Sultan and his army were repulsed and decided to retreat. Vlad had won the battle not just with swords, but with sheer terror. So was Vlad just a bloodthirsty monster? It's complicated. To the Ottomans and his political rivals, he was the devil incarnate. But to many of his own people, the common folk of Wallachia, he was a hero. He was a ruthless but effective ruler who fought for his country's independence, brought law and order by cracking down on crime, and stood up against a seemingly unstoppable empire. He was seen as a harsh but just protector, a national champion. Stories from that time paint him as a figure who despised dishonesty and theft, punishing it with the ultimate penalty. So, how did this medieval warlord become the world's most famous vampire? That's thanks to the 19th century Irish author Bram Stoker. While researching Eastern European folklore for his new novel, Stoker stumbled upon the name Dracula and accounts of Vlad's cruelty. He combined the historical figure of Vlad the Impaler with local vampire legends about undead creatures. And voila, Count Dracula was born. Stoker borrowed the name and the Transylvanian setting, but the blood-sucking, caped aristocrat was his own invention. The historical Vlad probably never drank blood and certainly didn't turn into a bat. He was a man of flesh and blood, a product of a violent and brutal era. His legacy is a complex one, a mix of national hero and cruel tyrant. His story shows us that sometimes the truth of history is far more chilling and complex than any fictional monster. The real man behind the myth was not an undead creature of the night, but a prince who used terror as a weapon to defend his homeland. Vlad's reign eventually came to an end. He was captured and imprisoned by the Hungarians for years before a brief return to the throne. He was finally killed in battle against the Ottomans in 1476. His head was reportedly sent to the Sultan in Constantinople as a trophy, a final grisly end for the son of the dragon. So next time you see a Dracula movie, remember the real story of the Wallachian prince who fought with such ferocity that his name became legendary, inspiring a fear that has lasted for centuries. The line between hero and villain is often written by the victors, and in Vlad's case, was rewritten into one of the greatest horror stories of all time. Thanks for watching. If you found this dive into history interesting, do you forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the real stories behind the legends. See you next time.